The video you are about to watch is something of a psychic scrapbook. It is quite literally the visual and auditory representation of my own perspective and experience when merging your auric field with that of my own. In this particular Oracle Wisdom session, it is guided by Spirit through the modality of channeling wisdom I receive from a spiritual atmosphere and sharing my perspectives as a psychic sensitive with conscious concepts explored for the entire collective. And it is my sacred intention to share wisdom conveyed in the energies of the colors, the figures, and the messages expressed in the images presented. My name is Jenna Pinkstone, and I am the Southern Oracle. We can connect on southernoracleeye.com or on Patreon, where gifts such as this Oracle Wisdom Journey will be offered to you on a monthly basis as gratitude for helping to build a more extrasensory world. Let's begin, y'all. In tapping into this auric field, the first thing that I am, I guess you could say, subjected to is that of a spiral staircase. A spiral staircase that feels very urgent and it feels very hurried. And I am traveling it and I'm coaxed upward. There's a feeling of being pushed towards the ceiling, but the ceiling never turns into the ceiling. The ceiling actually, I'm transported to this. Okay, have you ever been to a sports event and you've seen at a sports event this giant paper? It's like a big sign that, they'd have them at the high school pep rallies, and it was just the entire cheerleading squad would follow the football team as they burst through the paper, right? And the entire crowd cheers, yay! And it's like this big cathartic event of breaking through the paper and the moment of impact that slices and rips and tears that paper with that message across the front. It's like this moment, this epic moment of eruption, right? It's like this moment of eruption, of applause, of energy in the room. And that's actually what the ceiling is that is attached or adjacent to this spiral staircase that continues to ascend, but it's in this very small space. It feels like this space you're not able to actually experience each room that you ascend into with every paper breaking of a floor that you burst out of, and you ascend some more, and it's like, okay, it's almost like there's this cage also. There's a cage around this staircase. And you really can't venture outside of the staircase. You cannot experience the floor of every room that you enter into as you break through each of these, I don't even know what to call them. It's like butcher paper. And with every floor, you like punch through it. And it's like this yay moment. But then it's over and you're still in the cage and you're still in the staircase and you're still contained, yet you're in a different room. And there's a bit of a different scene and there's different things going on. Some have people present, some don't. Sometimes it's just you to experience this scene, this mood of this room that you find yourself within that is, it feels lonely looking at it through the bars. That's what it feels like. Lonesomeness. And Let's move forward. Let's see what else lies. Surely this building ends. Surely there's not an infinite number of floors. At some point, at some time, this paper will no longer be relevant to burst through. At some point along the line, you will reach the roof. And at that point, there will be nothing to attach this paper of entryway to the next stage, to the next dimension, to the next floor of this building that you find yourself imprisoned within and yet still able to ascend. Moving forward, we actually do find ourselves at the very, very top. And there's a trap door, and it's almost like you are in this deep dungeon. That's what the top floor of this building feels like a deep dungeon, and yet it's so high in the sky, and the way you can tell that is from this trap door that opens up to the sky. And there is nothing else visible except for these stars that speckle the sky like milk. They are so saturated around. It feels as though they are trying to creep through this trap door into this dungeon that you yourself are in. And you're kind of just waiting a moment before you go up there because it just looks so different from everything you've been through. And it kind of gives the Milky Way its name. It kind of validates that because the stars are so saturated here. They are shooting. There are comets. There are celestial bodies abounding just above your head, just outside of this trap door upon the roof of this building that you have bursted through so many butcher papers to get here. That's what it feels like. And every single time you ascended, it was like this exciting moment of yay, but at the same time it was just another sheet of butcher paper with some other message, some other cookie cuttered suburbia success story that everyone gets to cheer about. And that felt so strange to go through all of that, and then this is what lies before you. This is what looms above your head, the entire universe, the entire cosmos of space. And whether or not it is a vacuum, a void that can house you, or if it is like an entire ether of energy that you can infuse into yourself, it does not matter. It is so much bigger. It is so much brighter. Say what you will about all that awaits you in the way of challenge, in the way of hardship and difficulty in navigating this cosmic consciousness that lies before you. It is far outlying that of the butcher paper that loomed above your head, as though that in and of itself was worthy of all that you have achieved, as if that summed it up. The cheering, the encouragement, the acknowledgement of the crowd roaring as if to validate everything that you yourself had been doing. Allow yourself to sit among the falling stars, to realize and to experience that those falling stars above your crown, above your energy body, they rain down stardust that has been the building blocks of planets, of entire races not yet known to humankind. Know in your heart space that this is where you were always meant to be. For the energy that is contained within that of a falling star is where I am guided to share with you is your ancestry and all that you, a masterpiece of this cosmos, is comprised of. Never intended to be housed, sheltered, imprisoned within this spiral staircase, allowed to ascend, but never to explore. I'm guided immediately by Spirit to look closely up in really up close perspective and viewpoint of that of a shooting star. A shooting star is marveled at from afar, because I can assure you that from up close it looks quite different. It's frightening, actually. It is overwhelming. The amount of energy exuded from a central point, and that which propels it forward, that which makes it illuminate the night sky with a magnitude and just an overwhelming amount of energy exuding from a central point. And the sound that it produces, and how it seems fleeting to us here on the surface of the earth as we see it dart across the sky. We see it in its shortness of duration, but we don't understand from that flat point perspective that its journey continues. It actually continues on a trajectory that far extends and outlives that of multiple eons on the earth. Certainly that of a single human life. And this trajectory continues long after our eyes are able to perceive it. It goes on to illumine other worlds, to ignite other perspectives different from our own. And the appreciation of that may be lost to most of us here that view it in short-lived admiration as it illumines our sky. For such a brief moment in time, and we may chuckle, we may gasp, we may simply see it and go, But it continues on to illuminate galaxies, to spiral through the universe at just an unbelievably accelerated speed, of pure, unadulterated light and energy condensed, expressing itself through the cosmos. And the closest example that bears a similar amount of energetic expulsion on Earth that we can refer to is like that of a volcanic eruption, or a gushing geyser, or an incredibly powerful waterfall. Just constant and pushing with pressure out from that central point. But the difference between these earthbound phenomenon, that which are stationed and anchored here on this world that we also inhabit, and that of this shooting star, is how absolutely unbound by this entire galaxy, by our sun, that everything revolves around. No, this is an interstellar body. I mean, what else is there in this universe other than an interstellar comet traveling, not bound by the gravity of any sun? What else is interstellar? What else traverses galaxies? Actually bypasses time and any meaning up close in detailed fashion of that of a human life. A spaceship? A spaceship has a destination. Unless it's simply free floating, it's certainly not moving at the trajectorial speed of this comet. I'm guided to call it a comet at this juncture. For stars are in their own way also stationary. They exude an enormous amount of energy for the time that they do. But they do not travel in this way. They do not leave in their wake a trail of light, meant to be experienced, meant to be perceived, even if for just a fleeting moment, from a being on the surface of a planet. And by the time they are perceived, by the time they have been gazed upon by some lucky onlooker, they've already traveled another 1,000,000 miles through space. They are already on to the next space, specifically speaking. There's some concept of space that is being explored here, space that is inhabited and space that is traveled. Are they one and the same thing? Is space merely this vacuum that can contain us as we travel, as we live, as we move, however fast that we do?
The space provides the canvas for the comet that travels so fast to streak, to paint its brush stroke in the fabric of time. And from far away, even from far away, if you see a shooting star in the sky, it's enough to change your life. It's enough to provide you with a visual reminder that there is so much more going on outside of yourself, outside of your single life. There's so much travel, there is so much energy that is available to be tapped into, because it is not merely outside. There is some innate part of ourselves as we gaze into the night sky and we behold a shooting star. We can sync up to that. A part of us knows that we also are a part of that incredible energy. But when you zoom up close, whenever you look closely at this frightening, burning ball of light as it burns through the cosmos, one is able to conceive that anything on any surface that is playing out, that is exuding its own amount of energy, however far less it may be, as this energy barrels through space, streaking across the sky and changing the lives of so many that behold it, that are fortunate enough to feel that it is there for them. And it continues. It just keeps going. It never stops to recall or to reflect. It just continuously is and moves. It does not worry itself with anything else other than that which it actually is. In all of its majesty.
Thank you for attuning to this psychic scrapbook of sorts, a process I call an Oracle Wisdom Journey, which was made possible by a client whose auric field I merged with my own extrasensory perspective. I am Jenna Pinkstone, the Southern Oracle, and I look forward to interfacing with you on southernoracleeye.com and on Patreon, where a soul family is reuniting to help build a more extrasensory world. Please like this video and subscribe for future Oracle offerings.